Bonjour everyone, this is Ducasse, and man, it's been a long time since I shot one of those videos for my YouTube channel. Currently, I'm on a self-prescribed sick leave, so I decided not to go AWOL, but stay with you, but in a different way. And I thought, why hell not to be a bit nostalgic about NTW and think back about the heydays of VMR. For someone who is not familiar with this term, that stands for Vanilla Multiplayer Reimagined, the patch that talcore and I co-developed in 2023. Was a great invention. It kind of reinvigorated the whole community, brought a lot of people, and Continuity and Zerg were, so to speak, main sponsoring clans of the VMR and also the tournaments that happened over there. And speaking about the tournament, I want you to showcase the battle which my dear friend Carl von Clausewitz kindly provided me the replays of, where we played 1v1 in the, I think it was the quarterfinal stage of the game, but this is not important. Those two battles held out on magnificent Prussian hills, really stuck in my memory, and I was a little bit upset that I couldn't find the replays of those, but he did. He saved both the battles. Very exciting. I will share you in this single video both of them. And yeah, let's head out and see those. So the battle was taken out, I think, on October 28th of 2023. It's a bit a while ago, but yeah, this makes them nonetheless great. So let's start with the first game we had. Those were 2 games, and yeah, let's get right into those. You can also already see the beautiful landscape of Prussian hills, where back in the 18th century, the flunkies were ordered to set up the king's tent, where His Majesty Friedrich II could inhale the fresh air and enjoy playing flute in the beautiful prairies of Prussia, and probably condescending from those heights over to the valleys down the road with some farmers. I don't see any farmhouses here, but probably there will be some farmers who would rejoice at that, hearing this beautiful music and seeing the milk production of their cows rising and hence laying more eggs, which makes it a very idyllic picture for both high standing and low man, little man of that era. But that's enough. I think this is the portion of bullshit I want to bring you close in this video. Now let's focus on the battle. So this is the point of view of Carl of Clausewitz with his army consisting of, well, don't ask me to count all of this, but I think it should be 19 units. What you should know about VMR that all factions were fixed that way that they are more or less balanced with the other factions. Still, I would say there will be factions like Prussia, Russia, and England, which would be slightly better than any new factions introduced by this mod. But more or less, all factions are balanced, and the factions with some weaker setups without, for example, infantry guards like Ottoman, they would have those infantry guards added. I can even show you the unit. Here it is. The Bailicon Janissary Grenadiers. This is considered a guard unit in the game. First of all Grenadiers unit in VMR would have 120 units instead of 90. Very powerful unit. Can throw grenades, can square as well. So, very good, but also very expensive. And of course, the costs for many units has risen in Ottoman Empire, which made it a little bit more difficult to equip all 20 units in the army, the way it is in vanilla game. But at first glance, it seems to me there should be at least 90 units in this army. Yeah. Anyway, let's see how he positions his units. So definitely he will go for the first fighting position. If you think of the tournament rules popular in that time, ideated by Lancer, maybe there was somebody else involved, but Lancer from Unity and FIP were those two who, in my opinion, kind of created this concept with the winning zones. So in Prussian Hills, the main winning zone would be somewhere around here. Yeah, so the P1 position and the middle position between two of those cornerstones. This would be the second winning position, I believe, and there might be even one more over here. But the whole point about those winning zones is if one side kind of keeps the winning zone, the attacker side, of course, breaks into the winning zone, and defense side is pushed away, they can't just camp somewhere else. They have to fight for the winning zone. Just like the attacker side can say, oh, guys, I'm not going to push those positions if you're already taking them. Let's fight on somewhere balanced landscape. And the defense side say, no, you're going to push those positions because we are taking them, we are occupying them, and you have to push us away in order to get a win. I think it's a pretty fair concept. Of course, yeah, you should keep in mind that a lot of the Napoleon's maps are not balanced. A lot of Napoleon's maps are not actually made for tournament or for fair and square battles. They're just a small bunch, which makes it a real bummer for clan battles, because, yeah, if you want a perfectly balanced map, you can't even call Italy such. It will be just grassy, perhaps Syria, even though even that one, in my personal taste, is not balanced. But yeah, I don't intend to drift away. Let's just have a last snapshot captured. The main force of Clausewitz will be facing on the P1. There will be 2 units covering the probably second winning zone, and 2 units will, of course, try to occupy the plain or the forests behind it to kind of be able to use the counterattack element. Yeah, and just to spill a few words about the concept of videos. I know I spouted a lot at the beginning, but I want those battles to be real quick. So I'll just put the forward mode and show you the speed of tactical decisions to be taken, okay? But once in a while, I'll also allow myself to do some cinematic takes in slow motion, showing you how beautiful actually the battle is in VMR, for instance. But first of all, yeah, before the battle starts, let's take a look at the opposite side. This is your loyal servant Ducasse. Ton of continuity. I participated in this tournament as well. Let's see how I position my troops. So the biggest advantage of Netherlands and biggest update in VMR would be Dutch flankers. The light units increase up to 120 ranks, which gives them significant advantage, of course. Also, the accuracy was increased up to 50, if I'm not mistaken. You'll also see Dutch grenadiers coming back to their home. As you remember, in Vanilla, they fight for France, which is historically correct still. But yeah, this mode does them a little bit more justice. So Ducasse picked 2 Dutch grenadiers. Oh, sorry, this one is the basic grenadier. Dutch grenadier is considered the guard unit over here, so considerably more expensive than the normal grenadiers units. 2 of those, 4 lights. a lot of line infantry, 2 chevaliers. The cavalry I really hate and abhor to think of, but talcore, who trained me for that battle, persuaded me to bring those. They have been increased in numbers from 45 up to 60 men strong. Oh, sorry. Have to drink a sip of water. Fine, and the battle is about to start. Now, let's see who's going to win this one. The battle number 1 of the tournament. Three shooter calf by Clausewitz, moving down the direction of B1. Selectari and Sipai units taking the playing ground on between those 2 cornerstones. Now we can see moderately aggressive play style by Clausewitz, which can be well recognized. 3 Dutch lights coming their way, not feared by anything. Clausewitz knows that and lets the infantry put the first shot. Well, definitely I cannot think what Clausewitz thought at that moment. I can only process my own thoughts. So at this point, I figure out that, of course, he will just a little bit rest his sword units, and then he will direct his Bashibazooks right at me. And it's already happening. He didn't even rest them until they're fresh. It goes all the way. I can see this aggressive Clausewitz play style evolving, and those Bashibazooks getting the volley. Beautiful start. And yeah, this was a tactical setup, of course. The infantry of Clausewitz taking a volley at my lights. Not so much of a high casualties here, and Bashibazuk is already out. Now what we can see, the infantry coming their way closer. I think they might even melee me. No, they're not. And the Shurikav coming their way, and the first attack coming my way. Let's see how those lights are firing. Oh, this is beautiful, man. I mean, they won't probably even be intimidated by the Janissaries that will slit their throat if they will start firing them into the backs. They don't care. They will just fire. The casualties are not worth mentioning. Just 3 men lost on their way. Of course, they're not gonna fight me at this moment yet. They will just use this very, very convenient pit for further attacks, because obviously I won't risk my Dutch flankers, the USP unit of Netherlands, to come closer and fire at them. I did this lazy Chevalier attack, which of course has gone awry. It was simply not good enough. Look at this tactic Clausewitz is using here. Line infantry 81, 1 infantry covering me in the corner, and at 90 degrees the mounted Shurikav tries to do anything. Well, a little bit of moral problem here. I'm a little bit flabbergasted by this hardness of push. I couldn't even take out those cavalry. I'm trying, because if I see the red cavalry, I will do anything I can. But for some reason, they are still alive. This was a major bounce on Clausewitz's side, and you can see that I'm losing the control of the battle now. I'm trying to stop the Siamat Janissaries from advancing by my line infantry, which is a waste unit anyway. And actually I did it, and I think it was a fair and square trade over here. But by lights, they're simply unprotected, and the Dutch grenadiers and the other line infantry are coming too slow to protect them. You can see here I still keep the balance. I can still counter those units, but the problem is I am in a real minority here. 2 versus 4 units coming my way. The line infantry just started their action, and I know there's just much time that I've been wasting here. I'm trying to kill those Siamat Janissaries and kind of control this left area, not to lose entirely here, while retreating on the middle center and killing out the cavalry, which worked not exactly how I expected. And look at my general, forgetting how to bring it back. No, actually, yeah, bring it at home safely. And the line infantry coming my way. It's a little bit of a mess here. I know that Clausewitz took this very, very strong positions. Very, very strong. Despite the woods, it's a red herring. It's not a proper coverage for the units, and everything was firing my way, especially in this mess of formations, would kill me over here. Yeah, double lines, classical tactic ingenuity, which now we think as something like a default tactical tool we're using. Back in 2023, it was sort of a new thing. Yeah, I don't remember double lines being intensely used before VMR actually came out. Line infantry, 120 guys doing their bullshit job over here. Yeah, and of course I'm just trying to save those units, but the moral aspect is definitely on Clausewitz's side, and at some point I even lost my general, as you can see. Those are the general horses. I actually don't know if any of them have escaped. No, actually they should be, otherwise I would get the notice, but I simply overlooked this part where he slayed out by general. I couldn't even see that on the replay, but as you can see, with that or flat general, the battle was definitely turning not in my favor. This infantry dedicated 26 unit was still rushing me, and I was just trying to keep those positions, but was everything in vain. So as you see, the casualties are very small here, carefully protected by landscape. Of course, the battle stats of the Ottoman line infantry is much stronger than the Netherlands line infantry, not mentioning that they will be two fighting one of me here. Also, very good angle. Look at the Clausewitz. Look at the sharp eye of Clausewitz. Absolutely fantastic. And those heroes are standing the ground. They can't even retreat here properly. Yeah, they will have to do this Uzi Snake thing to kind of come out. And yeah, they're trying their best, but the battle is technically over. I'll still forward it a bit. Let's see at those epic man Dutch guards. They don't fear anything. They'll just face their death. They go their way. They're red. They're dismoraled, but they still have their banner risen up. They still have... Let's actually hear the drums. Oh no! The moment I wanted to show them in their glory, or at least in their steadfastness to death, they decided to, take it on the lamb. Alright. But as you can see, the morale just broke entirely in my army. Nothing much I can do. Losing general was, of course, a grave mistake, but even at that point, the battle was technically over. Clausewitz just had this momentum and kept building on that momentum, I must say. So very, very thorough play from him from A to Z. All stages of the battle, he had this under control. Yeah. Let's see those heroes over there doing their small part. They'll just say, okay, Ottoman won their army, won our army, but at least we will revenge on this poor militia unit, the bazooks, sent to be butchered. Yeah. Well, they are lucky that a lot of bullets miss, actually, them. I don't know, like, who schooled those guys to shoot, but eventually the militia broke, which is a very good news. In the meantime, my main army has collapsed entirely. My light units trying to escape, being tired, but probably they will just break, yeah, in a matter of seconds. What else we have? The Dutch Grenadiers are back. Beautiful, beautiful. Maybe I can hear those drums. And I can hear those bullets, actually. Wow, that's soothing experience. Look at this officer, dedicated to turn the battle, dedicated to die with his legion, with the banners rise up. I can hear this iconic C that is intended to probably imitate famous Ronaldo's cry. Unfortunately, this is not the right point of time to scream something like that. It's far away from victory over here. I have 3 units left. And yeah, let's just see them slowly dying over here. Oh, actually, I have 4 units in total. Sorry, I forgot about those heroes. Yeah, so units keep retreating, keep returning to the battle. And yeah, somehow I'm kind of proud of those units. They still stand the ground, even though the battle outcome is just desperate. As you can see, Clausewitz barely even used his guard unit, his only guard unit. Still here, and look how beautiful they are in action. They use the horns, they have the flag, they have the officer alive, leading them in a Chuck Norris, with Chuck Norris charisma kind of to the battle, with a crooked saber. And yeah, well, the Grenadiers fled the battle, and there's just one more unit standing over here. Those Dutch heroes I was talking to you about. Yeah, and they have pretty good accuracy. I mean, this unit was full, and now it's just 67, but 67 man strong. I think Gen Z would refer to that. But in any ways, there's just one more unit left on this side, coming to face their death, unfortunately. I know they didn't deserve that, but Clausewitz definitely deserved that victory, and it was a fantastic battle made by him. As you can see, I was right. I mean, 18, 20, 24 units deployed. It's still a vast number, but for Ottoman, it's actually not that much. Probably it's because he picked a lot of cavalry. Cavalry is not that expensive in VMR Ottoman faction than infantry. And that's why it kind of dwindled the number a bit. I had higher numbers. I only had 3 cavs with me, 2 chevaliers. I heard to talcore not to pick Dutch Guard Lancers. But yeah, unfortunately, chevaliers performed just too bad. Yeah, and there was partly I'm to blame. I had to think of the ways how to counter Klaus over here, but he was just fearless in his attack, and it's definitely a very, very glorious victory by him. Now let's take a look at the second battle. Yeah, I will try to revenge him. This will be Prussian hills as well. Yeah, paying homage to His Majesty Friedrich II again. But we'll just swap the sides, and I will start on Clausewitz's positions for attacker side, and he will be the defending side. So, and here we come to see the second battle. We're taking out on the same battlefield with changed sides. So I'll be playing the attack with Netherlands with slightly updated army. So the main alterations will be on the cavalry part. And yeah, so as you can see, the battlefield is a little bit differently colored. Yeah, probably the change of the seasons happened before the armies actually recouped and replenished and were ready to face each other again. Yeah. Yeah. In VMR, since I have Dutch Grenadiers, I decided to pick just a Sergeant General, the thing that you would never see me doing in vanilla version for Netherlands. But the main alterations were that I picked 3 Dutch Grenadiers instead of 2. I gave away a little bit more money for cavalry, replacing chevaliers with Dutch guard lancers. Still a total of 3 units, so mainly infantry armies. And of course, this was in my strat for the game that Clausewitz at some point, because he's an attacking player, he can't just sit on the ground like a chicken. He would look around, he will discover the weak spots of my army, and he'll attack there. And it's much easier to attack with having sufficient cavalry in your army, just because you can just impose where to fight your enemy. Yeah, you are more mobile, and you can decide, yeah, especially if you have a well-spread infantry army, where the backup units cannot just come in on time to save your army. And that's something, I'll give you a little spoiler, that will happen in the next 20 minutes, I guess. Yeah, so let's take a look what I am doing over here. I have 2 line infantries going this way to claim the second win zone, let's call it. The main army is, of course, to take over the P1 position, like in Clausewitz strat. The Hussar unit, which will be a decoy unit, and kind of work in both directions over here. And the Chevalier unit is the one that sacrifices himself for infantry to gain an advantage. The Dutch Lancer unit is here just to kind of infuriate the enemy and let them think twice about attacking in that direction. But I'll have it hidden in the woods for a little moment. So that's how the battle plays out currently. There'll be 1 light unit which will be covering the infantry over there. I'm not trying to be in a big hurry with taking this little plane over here. I already see the superiority of infantries on the left side, but I'm mainly focused on those defensive positions of Clausewitz. As of now, I don't suspect any intention of Clausewitz to attack me in this direction. I'm a little bit surprised that he's trying to defend in the woods that proved inefficient to defend in the battle before, where he slammed me on those very woods. But that's his decision. I'm not trying to hurry. I'm still kind of trying to find the sweet spot between my lights. I know there's something that could happen. So as you can see, having this 120 men in every light unit, I thought that would be way too much if I put all of them over here, or 3 of them. So I decided to split. I knew that there could be attack over here, so of course I brought light units. And I will spread it. And kind of see what's coming. Still, the defense here is a bit fragile, kind of fragile. He knows I'll be having hidden units over here, which gives me a fire advantage. He might not know the exact angle where they're facing him, but of course, Clausewitz, being a tactical wit he is, will find the proper angle to come in, which feels most safe. And here are the first volleys. Done by my valiant light units. I took some casualties here, but at the same time, I was quick enough to pull up the grenadier units to scare away the shooter calf and to have my lights covered. But the volley was still pretty okay. He lost himself less than I did with this attack. So I'll need to readjust a bit. I'm gathering the ground here, and he knows that. I think that was his tactical mastermind plan. to have me spread out here and to gain the elusive feeling that I'm surrounding him over here where his main army could be. But that's not exactly the point. So he is slowly marching up. He's having his light units in the middle. And of course I know what's this coming to. Of course I know this. And I know there's really no time to wait over here. But unfortunately, due to the long march, not all of my units are fresh. I have this cavalry which is winded, which is not ideal because this cavalry is supposed to square the units in the forest because I cannot face the Shurikav. Clausewitz knows that. He knows, and knowing this, he realized that he has this time period where he can regroup and move away his Shurikav this direction towards his general, and infantry coming this way, and he just hopes that he can hold this forest against my main army until the time comes. But when will this time come? I can't tell you exactly. It's 52 minutes still remaining. And yes, my first line infantry is about to enter the forest. I know I'll have to push him away the hard way over here. And I'm trying to... This was a little bit reckless from him, I assume, to have his only guard unit not being covered, not being put in the woods. Yeah, and of course he takes his volley. His Shurikav cannot do anything at this point. Yeah, he noticed that a little bit late, but still okay. I get the volley from the double line. Not really double line, but at the same time, what's happening over here? He's attacking me with Selectary, perfect angle, and already the morale is collapsing. 120 units scoring up just in time. The Sipai cavalry gets their volley. I get the fires from both infantry units. And I think at this point, yeah, my Chevalier is coming this way, trying to square those units. I'm not intending to attack them. I just want to kind of, scare away the Selectary unit. They will come again. I'm getting the volleys, and the morale is just absolutely horrifying here. If I broke in here, this would be a major problem. And the Chevalier is coming this way. He noticed that a little bit late, so he can't get the charge bonus on them. I'm firing with square, I'm fighting with light infantry and the Chevaliers, and they are running. This was absolutely sensational because the Selectary Guard was a single lucky damn unit that killed me over here. My light units getting squandered by 30 men, absolutely squashed by Shurikav over here, and the square unit will also be gone. The Chevaliers, no way that they will return. 28 out of 60 ran for absolutely no reason. I was horrified by that. I was expecting that I can hold longer than that. And at this point, you will think the game is over. There's nothing I can do. He has 3 full units over here. Brilliant attack. I lost 2 units. I lost Chevaliers. He only used 1 guard unit, the Selectary, and another significant blow to him was his guard units, taking significant casualties, but that's nothing compared to the tactical advantage he was getting over here. He also killed my light unit here, and also about to kill another light unit. Yeah. But let's see how this battle will turn out later. My Dutch Guard Lancers is on their way to countershoot a calf. I'm just hoping they won't fire at me, and they actually did, yeah. Very well made volley by Clausewitz, but of course the moral and close fights stats are not in Clausewitz's favor. Another shooter calf getting significant losses over here, and starting looking good on the right for me, but still can't be compared to the collapse that's happening over here. Also very, very nice volley. Let's take a look at it a little bit closer by the Ottoman light units. Look how mercilessly he kills my last retreating infantry lines over here. That's what I call Ducasse. That's a Turk school of fighting. And of course, the discipline comes first. He returns to his first row and loads a... Yeah. He decided not to spend the bullets, to retreat for some time and see what's happening on the other side. The Grenadier, 55 men strong, are a bit unfortunate over here in the attack. I don't let my morale sink. I know I have it covered. Yeah, I can still protect the woods over here. Of course, the numerous advantage of Turkish troops is significant. And another brave attack by Dutch Guard Lancer units. This is the penultimate Ducasse of Clausewitz, and he loses them all. And he forgets to square with his grenadiers. My Dutch Guard Lancers are still alive. I have no time. I have to go. It was a really bummer because it's a Guard Lancer unit. If it was fresh, it was superior. But with tired units rushing the uphill, absolutely incredible. Now, what we can see here is the Nizam Jadida unit a bit struggling with the red morale. I know why. It's Dutch Grenadiers units over here, but they have a Ducasse advantage. They can score me. I cannot do anything. I have Hussars, but I don't want them to use. I don't want them to use on the Ducasse over here. Dutch Grenadiers, 38 men strong, already died. That's a bummer. My general killed the Janissary Grenadiers. That was very good. But I lost them too. A little bit of, uncomfortable moment for me. Once the battle was looking in my favor at this side, it stopped suddenly. But I killed Ottoman general, and that was good. And Janissaries have kind of shattered and died. He forgot to square with his infantry line over here, and Janissaries running by my grenadiers fire and Dutch flankers, which is still very strong in numbers, 100 men strong each. I lost the forest eventually, but look at this Hussar cavalry. I know I'm very good in securing the strategic cavalry units until the end, and one Hussar unit basically shackled two Ottoman infantry, Ottoman lights unit over there. Now, we are both without generals, we're both without significant advantage, but my infantry returns at 40 men strong. I know this. I have a small advantage in terms of numbers. He will have advantage because he will defend this woods eventually. My light units is dedicated to destroy the remaining infantry lines, but yeah, Clausewitz's units also return to the battlefield. They know what to do. They will all regroup and go back. They are not even tired. They will have time to return to the woods, to the remaining troops, and hold the last defense. My lights, unfortunately, quite tired. They had a long way behind them, and also quite a long way ahead of them too. Yeah, so this will be the final standoff. Luckily, I still have 3 lights left. And yeah, the beautiful fire by Dutch flankiers starting now. And Ottoman having their casualties rising up. It's a bit of negligence over here with his light units having some casualties, but he still has 4 units strong. And it's interesting how we swapped actually the spawn zones. Yeah, so he's still a defender, I am the attacking side, and so I have to attack him to win him before the time runs out. And, well, 40 minutes, I would say enough to finish those units. I have to be careful. Most of the units, the line units, have no ammo. I manage the ammo for my lights units, on the other hand, very carefully, so they still have a few volleys left in them. And these units probably will have 1 more volley to make, each of them, and that's beautiful, man. Absolutely. I don't want to come too close, even with my grenadiers. Even, of course, they could throw the grenades, but at this point, this was not as necessary as it used to be. And the final attack by my hero hussars kind of turned that battle. 10 men strong, without generals, still holding the ground, sacrificing themselves for the infantry taking the cover. And then this is just a matter of finishing the bold standoff. So as you can see, the micromanagement in this part of the battle brought me the victory. Even though, he broke my flank, and I had a few saver units to bring in there, and they died too. Still, the trajectory of the battle was on the middle field, and since I gained the upper hand over here, it was more of a matter of the stable approach to finish this battle, other than anything else. So very entertaining 2 tactical battles. Let me know in the comments what you think Clausewitz should have done different in this battle, or myself different in the first battle. I think we played very well here. Of course, in the replay, you will see some tactical mistakes, especially if you're used to larger games with multiple players, and the battle taking out a bit slower because you can control your side a bit preciser. While when you play 1v1, you have to be everywhere at once. So the speed of decisions, the speed of micromanagement should be considerably higher, which of course is prone to a lot of mistakes or oversights. But in general, I think we played very well offensive, very well counteroffensive, very well cavalry maneuvers, well executed cavalry maneuvers. And in total, it was a game that can not just bring those old memories of VMR, but reinvigorate the interest for more modded games in Napoleon Total War. And yes, thank you very much. I will post this on YouTube in the format of BLITZ Battles. There will be more BLITZ Battles coming, and not just in VMR, but those VMR battles are just excitingly beautiful to see in the cinematic format of videos anyway. So thank you very much, and catch you up soon.